Так. Так, вот у нас теперь началось. Вот, всем здравствуйте. Настройки. Так, давайте сейчас переименуем только единственное. Для категории. Категория номер 1. Так, я сегодня, короче, 19 пойду, получается, учиться, ну, типа, на самой машинке ездить. Так что ожидайте в скором времени, что, типа, я, возможно, уйду, кстати, через где-то 5 часов. Ой, бля, что сегодня еблами как-то много. Так, давайте теперь откроем. Блять, вот сейчас, вот все. Вот сейчас, вот все. Так, все выключили. Теперь, так, откроем этот сайт. Сейчас я тут открою его. Так. Алло, да, алло, привет, здравствуйте. Мне что-то залагало тут. Интернет что-то шалит в этот день. Так, давайте сейчас напишем теперь. Ну-ка, поебланим, конечно. 2 минуты. Так. Пройти тестов. Правильно. Бля, надеюсь, мне так не будет вылетать каждый, сука, ебучий раз, потому что мне это заебало уже. Если еще раз вылетит, типа, я просто, блядь, перескажу стрим, потому что пиздец какой-то. Ой, блядь. Так, что я хотел? Дайте тестов. Подряд для категории. Продолжить, да. Так, это, короче, потом посмотрю, что, типа, те, кто недоволен, что, блядь, себе лагает, все, сори, ребята, я лох, я не шарю. Мне как-то тяжеловато. Так, значит, тесты уже прошли, получается. You drive a car. Подожди, типа, 10 подряд же написано же, да? Тестов подряд для категории Б. Так, давайте так просто ставим, потому что невозможно интернет выдерживать. You drive a car that carries a semi-trailer on a European national road. What is the maximum speed you're allowed to move outside of the localities? You drive a car that carries a semi-trailer on European national road. What is the maximum speed you're allowed to move outside of the... Напомню, на National Roads, типа, можно 90 километров. Я вот думаю, наверное, 20 километров меньше. Не, все-таки 90, да. Понятно, 100. Окей, значит, убил. How does the vehicle driver go out of a country yard or garage on public road? Gives priority to pedestrians and vehicles on the road. How does vehicle driver go out of country yard? И что ваши комментарии, что мне не видны? Так. How does the driver go out of country yard, garage on public road? The vehicle driver gives priority to pedestrians, vehicles on the road. Request to be powered by another. Бля, я же первую ошибку сделал, мне не очень нравится. In what order with the vehicle crowd the intersection. Уступи. Начинаю сначала red car. Лево, значит право. Значит, red car, green car, truck. The red car, the green car, blue truck. It is forbidden to return the vehicle on pedestrian marker. Junctions, including roundabouts. В смысле, типа, то есть, как это можно? Ну, блядь, да, можно, типа. Бля, сейчас проебу, скорее всего. How does driver have to go if he intends to change direction of going to the left in the direction by which tramway runs on the space? Значит, голова прям болит, потому что плохо вот синется, поспал днем. How does the driver have to go if he intends to change direction of going to the left in which the tramway runs in space between the right track and the sidewalk curb? So, in just one row. The only remaining line leaving the tramway free. At the signal of a blind who crosses the street, you are bound to stop the vehicle. The near image means dangerous road to work, dangerous vehicle accostement. Бля. Давайте самолайк поставлю себе сделать так. Категории де Пьетро. Туда получается. Так, ну кто-то написал, походу, сейчас посмотрим-ка. Нет, все так вот. Why should I repair defective exhaust unconditionally? Понятно, я не знал этого. Первый раз такие вопросы не попадаются на самом деле. Вот серьезно. Какого хуя мне раньше не попадались такие вопросы? Потому что нехорошие люди. What is the significance of the pointer in the image? Prohibits access of the vehicle carrying substances liable to pollute the waters. Change of oil and fuel elements is done from a current periodically established by the manufacturer. Chain up to 12 years can be transferred on the front seat of the vehicle. До 12 лет могут переводиться, ну, я помню. On the rear seat of the vehicle with the seat belt attached to their weight and dimensions. Station is forbidden in the action area of two-way circulation. On road section where overtaking is prohibited. Так, on the road sections where overtaking is forbidden. Значит, на основная дорога можно. On the road sections where overtaking is prohibited. Бля. In which of the following situations driver of vehicle bound to use the passenger of driving lights on poorly made traffic arteries where visibility is reduced on the road both in and out of the settlements on day roads national in the case of night parking on the roads at national roads in the case of parking special arranged. Stop in the parking area of the service area. Вот этот вариант. Так, the indicator means a level crossing is industrial railway. Means deviating from the adjacent tape. On the public roads marked with the adjacent symbol, maximum speed limit outside localities. Я не помню нахуй. 110, 190. Это значит европейская дорога. Лево, вперед. Значит, motorcycle, truck. Лево, право. 2, 1. Motorcycle truck. Tram 2, tram 1. Which vehicles are permitted to run on motorways? Vehicles those who, through construction or other causes, cannot exceed the speed of 50 km. You are required not to exceed the speed of 50 km outside of localities in the following situation. Best by organized, блять, ну я всегда думал. Okay, and then turn right. How do you deal with pedestrians crossing the street? In your sense of direction. What's to recommend at night in terms of parental conduct for a beginner motor vehicle? To it as far as possible to remote if long route to be carried on. What vehicle categories are required to use daytime running? A derived vehicle of transport dangerous goods. How will you see blinking yellow light? You will observe the meaning of the road sign. Так, вот это. You will travel, блядь, ну ёбаный в рот, ну уже предполагаешь, что, типа, если ты... Как это, блядь, уже может работать, господи? Типа, если ты смотришь направо, ты уже как бы... Road signs and traffic rules, типа, applicable in that place. Типа, ты уже предполагаешь. Что, блядь, педерастически... Осуждаю. How you overcome the tram of the pedestrian free stop in unique street? What technical condition must motor vehicle perform to run on the road? Be on the road to comply with the technical conditions. Not his gauge shown in the registration certificate. Blue exhaust fumes indicate the use of colored petrol. An excessive consumption of oil. You're required not to exceed the speed of 50 km outside the locality in the following situation. In particular, dangerous course with availability of less than 50 meters. When passing are organized in particular dangerous course less than 50 meters. Сколько сейчас уже, блять, время? 16 минут, окей. What should I repair defective exhaust conditionally? Because it produces too much noise. The indicator obliges you to follow, to go forward or right in first intersection. In the situation, what do you need to prioritize? Any vehicle. Что? Какая нахуй? Что это такое? Что это такое? Транспорт, который движется по пересекающей дороге. Какая пересекающая? Что такое пересекающая дорога? Ой, ладно, хотя бы интернет так быстро залагал. Это прикол такой, да? Это дорога, которая пересекает вашу полосу движения под прямым или почти прямым углом. Ой, понятно, пересекающая дорога, понятно, я понял, что это значит. What do you need to prioritize if you're in a blue car? Это просто кинул человек там со стрим. Terrible greatly increases when at then kickbacks and breaking into consequences of aggressive driving style. The cure means the end of band to overcome. If serious light stalled on the other side of the intersection, driver shall be obliged to observe the meaning of the light signal only if the traffic light is accompanied by an additional sign indicating the direction to which signals are being addressed. Что? Is obliged to observe signals light signals if another traffic light is not. Понятно, ну, иначе... Понятно. How do you behave if you plan to leave the highway in this place? How do you behave if you plan to leave the highway? Sign up and hook up on the exit lane. Brake and exit at approximate speed of... Так, yes, because it acts in your sense of direction. If you're in travel on the European national road, you're forbidden to stop on the carriageway. Is it forbidden to return a vehicle on pedestrian marker? How will you see it blinking yellow light? You'll observe the meaning of road light or applicable. You will travel at low speed. You drive a car carries... Sorry за такие звуки, надеюсь, они не мешают вам. Потому что, типа... Ну, мне просто хочется, конечно, было открыто. You drive a car that carries the same material on the European national road. What is the maximum speed you're allowed to move to the localities? 90 километров. Там вроде in localities, то есть, типа, на местных дорогах там, получается, тебя обязывают там ехать где-то около 50 километров в час максимально. Сори, да, я тут просто отвлекся. What are the criteria of assessing the effectiveness of the brake? The braking area. Is it required to equip more vehicles with the first aid kit? Yes, for all vehicles running on the public road. Existing road sign means a refugee from a refuge reversed for debugging. Can you overcome the tram of at the pedestrian free stop in unique street? Can you overcome the tram of a pedestrian free stop in unique street? You overcome tram. Not because overtaking is forbidden. It's possible to overcome when another vehicle approaches another. Yes, if one who approaches the opposite direction has reduced travel speed to facilitate maneuver attack with an immobilized fracture without throats is down with a Что за ключик? Это пароль. Иммобилизация перелома с помощью... Мне кажется, скарф, Да, скарф. Injured person with multiple burns. Без шины, блядь. Зачем шина? Injured person with multiple burns, body and lips should be quickly stripped of clothes and transported urgently to medical facility. On public roads with the adjacent symbol of maximum speed localities are 90 километров. Это типа европейская дорога, я помню. Which road traffic participants have the obligation to comply with traffic rules on public roads with the localities? In all participants in the road traffic rail situation. Car, если так. Партия, блядь, что так говно какое-то продается, непонятно. Ой, так, извиняюсь, да, за говно слово. Так, у нас тут получается car, tram, car, truck. Значит, слева, значит, право. Truck, car. Trolleybus. Я не знаю, как человек написал trolleybus на английском. То есть car, truck, car, trolley, motorcycle. Так, ну тут я хотя бы сдал тест, получается, вот. Так, у нас получается тут уже, типа... То есть у нас получается уже тут один пройден теперь. Так, секунду, кое-что открою тут. There very greatly increases... Вот это так. What dangers can rise through the non-use of the seatbelt? Even at collision speed of approximately 20 kilometers an hour, there is risk of injury. Which of the following vehicles do not have a crossing priority? Which of the following vehicles do not have crossing priority? Which of the following vehicles do not have crossing priority? Is the vehicle that descends the climbing once if in the direction of the climbers encounter an obstacle? Vehicles crossing an intersection in forward direction encounter green traffic lights. Vehicles since in climbing once if in direction of the climbers they encounter an obstacle. Vehicles crossing an intersection. Vehicles crossing an intersection in forward direction encounter green traffic lights. Vehicles that change direction of going to right compared to those running from the opposite directions. Мне кажется, вот этот вариант, да. Where do you have to wait if you're on downhill crossing? In front of the barrier. If serious lights down on the other side of the intersection, barrier shell is not is obliged to observe against of its light signal. If another traffic lights not at the intersection has a similar signal. Кстати, я тут только что подумал. Так, сейчас я отмена. Так, сейчас я просто нужно кое-что проверить. Я просто, короче, в Epic Games типа забираю тут игры бесплатные. What is meant by the 100 meters distance for a signal and change direction outside of a locality? Oh, what's meant by the 100 meter distance of signal and change direction outside of a locality? What is meant by the 100 distance for a signal and change direction locality? Distance traveled from the moment of signal and to perform the maneuver and place where travel is changed. Я прочитаю, потому что мне тяжело понять. Расстояние пройдено с момента подачи сигнала выполнить маневр до места. Use passing lights. What's the vehicle that has priority in roundabout? All the vehicles that have entered the roundabout are those that are to enter. What steps do you need to take when moving under atmospheric conditions that hinder visibility? The use of the passing lights. Is it forbidden to stand on public road provided with a continuous longitudinal marking supply between the traffic directions? Not if it doesn't force the other vehicle to go over the continuous mark. What location do you have if you find the forward or left and carry in the crossroad and the traffic light is green? Move forward or left. What's the significance of after lowering the arm of position body of traffic policeman if the traffic is traveling from the behind and forward scheme? Stop. How do you proceed? Then here Vama do one. Followed signals from the border guards. Так, can you overtake the truck? Yes, because prohibition of applies only to motor vehicles intended for carriage of goods. Так, what? You're on the road in column. How do you behave? Move very close. Keep proper distance from the forward traffic and track the behavior of other road users. What technical condition must motor vehicle perform to run public roads? Not exceed the maximum as far as maximum mass stated in your registration certificate. Be enrolled and comply with the legal technical conditions. It's correct to drive motorway and right side of motorway. No. Да, типа на правой части автомагистрали. Обгон по правой полосе на автомагистрали. Нет. Да? Ну же говорите, что типа, drive, а не обгонять. With passing lights. Signal police officer and police car carried out with his arm with or without reflex stick on the right side of the vehicle means. This situation where need to be prepared as vehicles run on the transverse road. When meeting the category, you have the obligation to move carefully because it follows a curve to the left. Which of the following facts applies to driver license? For failing to comply with legal provisions, stopping for non-observance of signal. What will you where will you park in special meeting? Car park. Like, what obligations do you have if you encounter a vehicle that signals with special blue warning lights inaudible? Would you speed to move as close to the curb as possible and give priority to other vehicles? Which vehicles are allowed to enter the red traffic light intersection? No vehicle except those. Так, уже 6 раз прошло. Так, я тут извиняюсь. Сколько у нас времени тут уже? 35, то есть уже 30 минут. Сейчас попью воды, потому что мне что-то поджелудочное разболелось. Так. At the cop signal with the left arm leaning horizontally towards the approaching vehicle, the driver must. Cop signal with the left arm leaning, continue the movement. Чего? Почему? По сигналу полицейского лицом... А. Это station is forbidden. Stationing is forbidden. In the action area of two-way circulation. On the roads side of national roads. Stationing is forbidden. In the action area... Так. On the road sections where overtaking is prohibited. In the action area, two-way circulation. Вот это. Так. What are the applications for drivers when passing various vehicles which have their own special blue lights warning device? To reduce speed, to travel as close as possible to the roadside. Action of travel and give priority to crossing. What is not allowed for car owners? Так, install other warnings than those required by the competent authority. To mount the devices set approved ones. Вот это. What is responsibility of the driver? Сколько же прошел? 2 раза. Нифига себе. What is the responsibility of the driver of an immobilized vehicle in an underground passage? Stop engine and depart if the hazard lights. Driving on a public road makes your car more visible if interior exterior or body plates with the registration number paint white yellow. How do you act in the case of injured whose heart has stopped? Start artificial heart compression and artificial respiration. In which situation are you allowed to... In what situation are you allowed to stop the vehicle or stay in the left side of direction? On single-way roads of at least one traffic line remains free. In what situation are you allowed to stop the vehicle or stay in the left side of direction? In what situations are you allowed to stop the vehicle or stay in the left side of direction? On single-way roads if at least one traffic line remains. On roads with at least 2 strips per sense. Что такое второстепенная дорога? Что такое второстепенная дорога? Я не понимаю. Второстепенная дорога. Что такое? Нет, сейчас буду посмотреть. Второстепенная дорога. Второстепенная, это по уровню непонятно. Так, у нас еще раз здесь. Ну, по идее, получается, типа, даже, типа... Ну, по идее, ты имеешь право остановиться. Когда вот так, типа, нет, в смысле? На левой части. Так, я не совсем понимаю, так. Сейчас спрошу. Так. Так. Так, уже 40 минут. Так, the pre-pal break glass and normal indicates liquid loss gasket. Jumps naked game between. Бля, даже не знаю. Сейчас стараюсь, конечно, не материться, потому что что-то мне как-то отучиться от этого. How do you encounter an obstacle in your sense of direction in that in order to overcome it you and enter the contrasense? А, кстати, точно, я же вспомнил, тут, короче, я смотрел же, как можно, типа, тут чаты, получается, видеть. Точно, тут, короче, сейчас, Ой, бля, где же это? Стоп. Где же это? А, вот здесь, да, здесь где-то, как можно назвать, модерация. Вот. А, стоп, блин. Сейчас, я хочу сделать это просто, чтобы видеть чатик. Так, значит, надо это закрыть. Открыть чат. Так, вот, я думаю, вот так можно будет, в принципе, видеть. Так, how do you encounter an obstacle? Так, how do you encounter an obstacle in your sense of direction, even that in order to overcome if you enter contrasense of another vehicle approaches? Stop and move an obstacle. Stop and wait for emergency crew. Reduce speed if necessary, turn off. How do you encounter an obstacle in your sense of direction, even that in order to overcome if reduce speed and if necessary, turn off? What do you have to do what do you have to do when behind? What do you have to do when you're behind a tram? Да, просто по правую ногу можно обгонять, получается, автобус. Driver. The driver of a vehicle is required. Так, ну вот это получается. Not allow each stroke. The meaning of the prohibition restriction sign in the absence of any other particular cases. Ну, вроде вот это. The signs of fractures are pain in the affected area. Fracture, ну да, типа. Для посломленности. In which situation is a driver or vehicle is obliged to change road and passing lights at night? In which situation is a driver or vehicle is obliged to change the road and the passing lights at night? And from... Так, вот это. Бля, мне не нравится это. Я надеюсь, я смогу пройти. Сколько уже прошло? Два раза. Так. Давайте. Exercise of the right to drive shall be suspended for a period of 60 days for exceeding the maximum permissible speed by not more than 30 kilometers an hour. Ой, бля. And that was at the moment acceptable for an overtaking maneuver. Блин. At the opposite moment, except when overtaken, maneuver is performed correctly. At the opposite moment. Так. Передвижение в встречном направлении за исключением случаев, когда выполняется закон об маневре обгона. Ну, теперь одна шанс по ошибке. Блять, теперь ей осталось всего лишь... Теперь я вообще не могу совершить ни одну ошибку. What obligation do you have before an overrun? What obligation do you have before an overrun? The insurance signal intention to overcome. Which of the following causes excessive increase in the engine's thermal performance? Thermostat failure. Breaking water pump drive belt. Что? Блин. Ладно. Так, the truck was in motion. How is it right to do it? How is it right to do it? Cross the track at low speed. Stop in place where you don't have maximum visibility without crossing the pointer. Is it correct to drive more? Да. Is it correct to drive more away on the right side of a motorway? Конечно. Да. What substances have an alcohol-like effect and can drive reduced ability to start rate? Caffeine, drugs, and psychoactive substances. After a heavy rain, is it necessary to keep a considerably greater distance from the vehicle running in front? Yes, because the rain. Yes, as the braking area increases. The maximum speed with which a car can drive on European national roads, people who have less than 1 year practice is 80 km. Under what conditions can road purposely blocking the public road if the safety of the traffic is endangered. The installation of road signaling devices or the modification of the position without legal authorization. Organizing or participating in authorized competition vehicles. The installation of road signaling devices or modification of their position without legal authorization. Purposely blocking the public road if safety is endangered. Is it obligatory to equip motor vehicles with first yes for all vehicles running public roads? Так, все, теперь, значит, получается, мы так с вами выполнили теперь уже 7 тестов за сегодня. Мощно, в принципе, наверное. Ой, только вот у меня 14 получается, и 15 августа у меня будет, получается, просто вводить, типа, практика, получается. Но я не знаю, у меня будет ли... Ой, что-то вообще косноязычно очень. Короче, у меня будет практика 14, ну и 15 августа. И мне надо подготовиться, получается. Я не знаю, мне нужно будет ли там сдавать теоретический тест, типа школьный вот этот для автошколы. Я, честно, этого не знаю. As you approach a level crossing the track, now the track barrier defending, how do you do? Так, stop in front of the barrier. Так, on the covered roadside area, notice the inevitable impact with dog. How will you avoid an accident? Так, release acceleration, keep the steering wheel firmly in direction of travel, being prepared to stabilize the vehicle after impact by smooth steering. Which of the following obligation belongs to the driver? Should travel at speed lower than prescribed by the minimum. To reduce speed by passing out by traffic policemen on DTV and public road. Which of the following obligation belongs to the driver? Почему? Ну вот почему? Ну вот если, например, как это возможно, я не понимаю просто. Я понял, в чем ошибка. О, кошка испугалась. In what situation are you allowed to stop the vehicle on the left side of the direction? On single roads of least one traffic line remains. To work out with the cyclist, can you work out with the continuous line? Not. Так, надо знак, что был специальный. Which of the following causes an excessive increase in engine thermal performance? Thermostat failure breaking the boiler pump of the right belt. In case of traffic accident with victims and which with a severe deformation of the bodywork. Блин, что-то живот прям разболелся из-за колы. Так, вот так я микрофон вот настроил. По идее должно быть нормально. Так. In case of traffic accident with the victims with severe deformation of the bodywork or blocking doors, так, resource is to the specialized service of the fire brigade units which operate the decommissioning equipment. Signs of fracture are increased temperature and abundant sweat, unnatural position, unnatural movement, arm or leg shoulder. At the signal of policeman located at the intersection with the vertical upright, you have the obligation to stop no matter what direction you're driving. Which vehicle are allowed to enter the right traffic light intersection? Боже мой, так, which vehicle are allowed to enter the right traffic light intersection? Vehicles are allowed to enter the right traffic light. Так, вот, у меня что-то мозг включился на секунду, вот это получается. What vehicles can be equipped with special blue warning? Vehicles belonging to police, Gendarmerie and Border Police. Under what conditions can... Так, under what conditions can road garage or first run on public roads? when they are in good working order and meet the technical conditions established by law. Так, which of the vehicles must give priority to pedestrians? The vehicle you're driving. You need to consult the road map. How is it recommended to do? You're not allowed to see the map at night. Start with the vehicle off the road. Так, to drive a car in a clean road, it's recommended maintain a constant, preferably medium speed. What obligation do you have? Signal and turns to curves. Reduce speed and move carefully as you enter a particularly dangerous curve. Vehicle drivers must comply with general and particular traffic rules in following order. Sign special warning beacons. With special warning, the light signals of vehicle priority traffic. Temporary signaling. Special warnings, beacons, or acoustic signals of vehicles with priority traffic. Signals, indication of provisions of road policemen, temporary signals, signals, indication of instructions of road traffic policemen, special warnings, light or sound. Специально предупреждающие сигналы световые или звуковые автомобили с приоритетным движением. Это получается, да. How will you see the blinking yellow light? Так, you will travel at low speed. Signal doesn't allow you to pass. You observe the meaning of the road. Так, это. How will you proceed if the traffic light on the intersection is green, but it is blocked due to crossing? How turn off and wait for unlocking, then jump into the intersection on the green signal of the traffic light. At the cop signal with the left arm leaning cross on towards the approaching vehicle, the driver must stop immediately. Why should I wear defective exhaust light additionally? Because it produces too much noise. The maximum speed with the vehicle car on the driving highway. People who have less than 1 year. People has думаю, 111 км. Да, 20 км меньше. Access of right to drive shall be suspended for a period of 60 days for the opposite movement, except with the overtaking maneuver is performed correctly. The opposite movement, except when the overtaking maneuvers. Forbidding the level crossing with the current track provided with the automatic signal device without barriers is accomplished by its intermediate red light advice and white out flashing. What do you do if you notice a timely manner of older person crossing the public road regularly in front of you? You reduce speed in time and take all precautions to avoid hitting the traveler. Так, вот тут уже получается 8 сделали. Так, мы уже почти уже мы уже час, кстати, уже проходим, тут окей. Блин, по идее я могу... Здесь сколько сегодня могу максимум сделать? Получается мне где-то 3 часа. Сейчас за 3 часа, дальше за час там 20. Ну, в принципе, если 10 минут. Можно еще 2 часа. Но 5-6 часов континуации не могу сделать на самом деле. Если так думать. Which of the two indicators prohibits stopping? Both indicators. The front bus signals exit from the alveolar station. How do you do? Would you speed and stop if necessary to allow the bus to leave? From what distance from the vehicle running in the opposite direction at night are you bound to use passing lights? From at least 200 meters. How will you do the right thing when you are traveling during the night under the atmospheric conditions that hinder visibility? Stop and wait for changing weather conditions. How will you do the right thing when you are traveling during the night under atmospheric conditions that hinder visibility? Use deep beam candle lamps and signal by changing the passing beam to drive and beam when passing through an unbridled traffic junction. What are the criteria for assessing the effectiveness of brakes? The braking area. In what order will the vehicles pass through the intersection shown? The green car, значит налево, дальше, значит green car, red car, blue car. Green, red, blue, green, red, blue. What does the indicator mean? Pre-signal that are to be followed in the case of traffic restrictions. Is greater than 7 ton. What's the main risk factor you need to consider driving the car through tunnels? Difficulty in doubting vision to entry and exit such of the passage. What measures will be taken in case of driving on public road or on public highway of the vehicle with a serious engine failure? What measures will be taken in the case of driving on public road highway of a vehicle with a serious engine failure? Find prevention withholding of registration certificates and withholding the driving license in order to suspend to accept the right to drive. How fast will you travel when carousel is covered with ice, snow slime, wet cobblestone? Speed will be reduced depending on the atmospheric conditions. Like, what are you allowed to stay in left instructional walking? Where are you allowed? On unique streets. How will you proceed correctly in the given situation? Observe the signification of the luminous signal if all traffic lights have the same color at the same time. Compare to traffic lights with different color signals. В смысле, они одинаковые взгляды имеют. Зеленый. В смысле, как это? Нет, не разные. With different color signals, but under each traffic light there is an additional panel in case the signal of traffic light will be respected by those whose direction of travel is found on those additional panels. Я на левой полосе. Все понятно, я тупой. Each situation, я не знаю, просто как будто вопросы не додают специально. Так, In which of the situations is overtaking prohibited? At intersection at a distance of 50 meters from them, in unlicensed traffic junctions and a signal pedestrian crossing. In which of the situations is overtaking prohibited? In unlicensed traffic junctions and signal pedestrian crossing. Окей, значит так. The fracture focal points fixed to prevent bone fragments move from the panel below. Station outside of the set time travel. How does the driver have to go if he intends to change direction after going to the left in a intersection by which the tramway runs and the space between the right track on the only main line leaving the tramway free? Are you properly framed to use first exit? No, because you're in the emergency lane. Has friendly fraudulent driving the emergency lane and the highway properly the barometer. What do you need to keep in mind when driving alongside a train or stationary vehicles? A door can be opened at any time by occupants of the vehicle. If you're on travel on the European national roads, you're forbidden to overcome and stop on the carriageway. What are your obligations at an intersection? Нихера себе, конечно. Keep right crossing, but pedestrians engaged in irregular crossing are in your direction. To give prop. Так. What are your obligations at the intersection? To tell speed that doesn't exceed 30 meters, move as close as possible to curb of the right of sidewalk. To keep right crossing with pedestrians engaged in irregular crossing in your direction. To travel speed that doesn't exceed 30 kilometers in towns or 50 kilometers outside of them if the road has at most one band per cent. Как будто я помню, что нужно тут два варианта ответа выбрать. Да. Which of the following obligations belong to the driver? Backward travel is prohibited over a distance of more than 50 meters. Так, what is the significance? Join indicator. Так, it's forbidden to park vehicles on odd days without crossing between the aforementioned 4 hours. What's the maximum speed prescribed by law for traffic in a residential area? Traffic banned in both directions. Which of the situations is allowed to overcome? Это же marked with priority indicators, понятно. То есть, получается, мы тут тоже... Так, все немного потупили, потому что тяжеловато немножко. Which of the following three because passes refers to through the intersection? They list crossing comparison with the front left, so right priority will apply. The yellow car will give priority to crossing the red car because it comes from the right. If the green signal is covered by forward to right, indicates the driver is allowed to travel only before or right. Among the first causes of road accidents and the attendance for driving, how can this be avoided? By constant considerations and activities that you need to take drive. What is it possible to drive? It's possible for a holder or motor vehicle across your structure to mount a downward device other than the one approved by the competent authority. Not. What's correct driver's position during driving? Be more focused. Keep the steering wheel steady and look straight ahead and stays close to the windscreen. The most correct position during the driving is the one that prevents the onset sleep. The passenger seat has to stay in bed first. Which situation is dull to overcome at the intersection led by light signals? If the intersection marked with priority indicators as the intersection guided by the police officer signals. Are you approach a lower crossing with track notice the barrier is decided? How do you do? Stop in front of the barrier. How fast you travel when the course is covered with ice, snow, slime, and road cubic stone. Speed doesn't exceed 30 kilometers an hour in localities or 50 kilometers outside of localities. You're obliged to stop the vehicle you're driving. That's the cop signal, but only if it crosses the red signal of traffic light. Lazy hemorrhage can stop if the injured person stands and squeezes closed nostrils for about 5-10 minutes. Спасавич, то есть надо, получается, то есть получается заряжать, получается, нос руками в течение 5-10 минут. Сейчас класс пишу, сейчас. Specify which specifications vehicle below has cross priority. Specify which situation vehicle listed below have cross priority. Specify which situation the vehicle listed below has cross priority vehicles perform the return maneuver. How should the correct oil level be in the bathroom? Between min max marking marked with on the oil dipstick. Observe significance of light. Like what is man of vehicles when thrown on the roads covered by snow, ice, snow to overcome? Run around on a vehicle with maximum total mass more than 3-5 tons with no wheel mounted chains. Like this police signals forward travel not. The external camera should be replaced so that the leaking of wound is hard by loud. What signifies the red signal? Так, ну опять получается stop. Так. Is it right to overtake the motorcycle in front of you? Yes. The indicator forbids. How do you the return tag? What do you need to do when you make the integrated image? Stop without crossing. The current at the intersection. Ensure the give priority to all vehicles. Make sure left and right. Reduce speed. Make sure in if another vehicle. Не понял. Stop without crossing the corner. Блять, ну тут написано stop, а не reduce. Да, внимательно прочитал. Which of the following facts is considered a crime is punishable as such? Limits the accident site. Damage prevent vehicles showing traces. Пиздец. How do you do when? Так, how do you do when you enter the wrong daylight? The disinfection of wounds that need to be dressed is done with a hydrogen peroxide or iodine. The jet sticker warns you that it's possible to have animals in the area. When is it advisable to shut down the engine to reduce fuel consumption? In the case of long stop at a level crossing the rail, does the signal made the route car of traffic light usually lasts a lot? What are your obligations to meet the animals in Nigeria? You have an obligation. Ух, это было близко, конечно. Так, сейчас я отойду, получается. Сколько тут у нас уже времени? 20 минут. 20 минут. Так. Пам-парам. Так, я тут, все. Так. Так, что у нас получается? Так. Ой, уже так 20 минут, господи. Так, вот, я только что наушник включил, так вот все. Так. Бля, как же плохо. You tend to tell power drain card the rinse in the engine. What do you need to keep in mind? More so you pay attention very carefully. А можно не стационарный торсис? Ну, по идее, да, можно. Because to enter the intersection. В смысле, ну те, которые вошли, получается. Блядь, ну в смысле нахуй? Ну, блядь, ну if you try on... How does the vehicle driver go out of a country yard or garage public road? He gives perturbation given and the vehicles on the road. Чел ест интернет. Что запрещается водителю производства во время движения по общественной дороге? Что запрещается водителю транспортного средства во время движения по общественной дороге? Почему проводить транспортное средство больше... Пройти груза. Почему открывать двери... Техническое состояние транспортного средства, а также пройти к грузу. Мне кажется, два варианта тут. Вот это, то есть вот этот. Если транспортное средство запрещено во время движения по общественной дороге проводить в авто не больше людей, чем количество мест указанных в свидетельстве регистрации или учете. Can you use a higher speed than the legal one for taking a car? No, not. What vehicles you give? Так, the vehicle you're driving. Which of the following facts is considered a crime and is punishable as such? Repairing the vehicle showing just accident without police authorization. Which of the three vehicles parked properly? Cars 1 and Cars 2. Я недостаточно внимательно посмотрел, как там припарковывается автомобиль, понятно. Боже, 10, господи, боже, все же 10 ответов. The left horizontal stretched arm of a bicyclist means intention to change direction of going to the left or to overcome. Which of the variations additional panels indicate the distance between the gear and the start? Между знаком specifying which situation's vehicle listed below has crossing priority. Здесь. Specified which situation vehicle is below has cross priority. Vehicles from regular public transport service. Vehicles to perform return maneuver. Roundabout vehicles for those who are preparing to enter the intersection. Господи, боже мой, как же. How will you do the right thing when you are traveling during the night and your atmospheric conditions your visibility? Is deep between the headlamps signaling by change passing the beam, driving the beam that passes through the unbridled traffic junction. Which of the situation is vehicle immobilized? Is vehicle immobilized when technical conditions of the vehicle when driver doesn't when the technical state of the vehicle seriously jeopardizes traffic safety? Not refueling station. And when the trunk doors were closed. What is the significance of the indicator? Force the direction of shift to the right. Obliges you to pass the right place where it is installed. Strip next to the sidewalk. Obliges you to pass the right place where it is installed. The running signal consists of intermittent yellow light by forces you to move at low speed. Which of the three vehicles passes first through the intersection? Tram, because it has priority on go. While driving a car on public roads, it is prohibited. The comfort of the front seats should keep enamels in their arm. Indicator forbids moped. Да. Stopping is prohibited in the action area of narrow road. On the other station, if you happens the movement of two vehicles coming from the opposite direction in an area where prohibited overtaken. What do you need to do when you meet the indicator in the image? Reduce speed, make sure if other vehicles on the priority road stop to give you priority. Значит, это, наверное, orange. А где red car? How will we do that? Ну, типа, нужно остановиться, типа, дать пропуск. Почему? Ну, типа, что это не так, типа, дать? Wait for green light to appear. Понятно. When you are not allowed to return the vehicle. What do you do if you are not in a timely manner or other person cross the public road directly in front of you? Фух, у меня прям получилось. Так, у нас первым пошли 11 раз, типа, и 4 раз правильно. Так. Так, значит, получается еще, господи, уже 1 час 39 минут. Так, you have correctly selected the lane, but stop because the traffic light is red. If you turn left, you have correctly selected the lane, but stop because the traffic light is red. What are your obligations if in an intersection do you turn left on the green signal of the traffic light? What are your obligations if in an intersection do you turn left on the green light or signal? Your way of going green. Special tires, anti-slip chains. How will I proceed? Turn off and wait for a green light to appear. Здесь больше людей. Так, вот это получается. Так, там было вариант. База. If when crossing the track you find the vehicle is stationary on the railway, how will you proceed? Provide support for removing the vehicle from the railway, or if not possible, report the presence of the vehicle. Which vehicle is currently stationary? Но получается, the red car. Понятно, здесь плохой перевод, типа, тут имелось в виду, типа, что кто, типа, в соответствии с правилами, кто правильно паркуется, типа, я думаю, а никто неправильно паркуется. Так, if you're traveling roundabout, give priority to any vehicle. Exit the vehicle from the agriculture road and plan to turn right, entering the road. There is another vehicle coming from the left. Exit the vehicle from the agriculture road and plan to turn right, entering the road. There is another vehicle coming from the left. Who gives priority? Так. О, еще 6 раз надо пройти тест. Еще должно у меня получиться. сельской дороги, собирайтесь повернуть направо, въезжая на шоссе, слева приезжать только транспортное средство. Ну, мне должно уступить. Это непосредственно сельской дороги, собирайтесь повернуть направо. Ну, я, получается. Да, потому что, типа, там... Да, потому что, типа, я, типа, на местной дороге все еще, а, типа, он на шоссе находится. Вот. It's possible to park vehicle at night on the unlimited communal roadway. Yes, if outside of the position lights presence of vehicles also included by means of Yes, if the parking lights or parking lights illuminate. How should a wounded person with spinal cord injury be placed in means of transport? The person should not be moved until the ambulance arrives. Which of the situation is the return of the vehicles prohibited? Place where stopping is prohibited. Так, the intersection before which is installed. Так, ну, в принципе, еще на самом деле неплохо. Так, на самом деле, типа, no one, да, потому что тут надо, типа, залезать, типа, на бордюр. Removing on the right side of reflective stick by the policeman who accompanies an official motor vehicle blinds the driver behind it. Moving on the right side of reflective stick by the policeman who accompanies the more official motor vehicle blinds the driver behind it. Removing on the right side of the reflective stick by the policeman who accompanies an official attack to stop as close as possible to the edge of the road and where possible to take a vehicle out of the carriageway. Так, 45 минут. Regular technical inspection of motor vehicle agriculture refers to tracks and trails must be carried out practically according to the law. At the car in front of you crosses the intersection, how will you do? This is the same maneuver if there is no other obligations. How do you have to do this? Stop and allow the pedestrians to cross. How should the driver of a green car go in the green situation? Cross the right side of the bus after the pass in the red car. And the prudent driver has committed himself to overtaking the column in which you are from the opposite direction of truck approaching a short distance away, signaling with the lights. How should you do to avoid the accident? Reduce speed and increase the distance from the one that runs before you create the conditions you go beyond. Which of the following factors is the basis for preventing conduct? Is the basis to be polite and disciplined in the road traffic? Knowledge traffic rules and driving rules of the vehicle. Which of the following regulations belong to the driver? Keep the plates with the registration number clean and visible by the traffic policeman duty. Так, in the given situation, do you have a priority over the vehicle scanning or the not? Which situation is forbidden to overcome moped? Moped, так, yeah, moped. Pedestrian crossing. as at less than 50 meters before. Вот это я думаю. Respiratory tract can be unlocked through specific interventions. Execution more vehicles on public roads prohibited when they regulation road safety and environmental protection. Ой-ой-ой-ой. Господи, так, мы уже 12 тестов уже прошли. 5 раз подряд сделали. Отлично, теперь... Сколько у нас времени тут? Так, у нас уже почти 2 часа. Ой-ой-ой. What cars are stationary? Так. Как же... блин, что-то колу плохо выходит. Черт, как же колу плохо, газики плохо выходят. Блин, как же газ плохо выходит. Это, короче, у меня ж выпил газированный напиток, у меня проблема с панкреатитом. У меня, короче, панкреатит начался сейчас. Ну, у меня просто проблема с поджелудочной есть. Вот. Так, the blue car, конечно, blue car правильно припарковано. Voluntary mobilization vehicle shall be considered to be a stop if it takes up to 5 minutes. On the yellow flashing signal, reduce speed, comply with traffic rules, stop and wait for a green color. You have no obligations. What obligation do you have when you notice that you'll be overtaken by another vehicle? Not increase your speed, move as close as possible to the right edge. Ну, я думал выбрать это, но не выбрал, ладно. What is the lower speed limit that can be set inside of localities? Not less than 30 kilometers an hour. What can be attached by category B1 car? A trailer the maximum authorized mass which exceeds А ты тут думал сказано, тут это информация. Господи, я слепой. В гараж. Use the horn only allowed. Hunting is only allowed if immediate engine is avoided. Shell speed must not exceed 30 km in localities of 50 km outside the localities. When traveling in the same direction as bus stopped in the station of single track road, signal as such, or in which visibility is less than 50 meters. Which of the following types of roadway is more dangerous in the rain? Cubic stone carriageway. The driver of vehicle is required. Have an identity document. The end of the area where a stop is forbidden is announced by category 2, 2. Ой, как же потянулось приятно. Так, a person that doesn't allow passage tram камёнлуй. Камёнлуй. Which камёнлуй. In which situation is it not permissible to increase the speed of travel as more vehicles across your road tractor? Так, ну не... Когда он движется по первой полосе, а по полосе рядом со осевой линией движется другие транспорты, когда он движется по первой полосе, а по полосе рядом с осевой линией... Не, я думаю, я умею право, но я думаю, вот этот вариант. Да. The indicator forbids the return. What are contravention sanctions? Fine penalty. Fine penalty to drive. Require side wind. Так, ладно, еще неплохо на самом деле. Which part of the public road tends to skid the vehicle in the case of left turn at high speed? Which part of public road tends to skid the vehicle in the case of left turn at high speed towards the inside of the curved source? С другой стороны дороги автомобили имеют тенденцию носить при выполнении левого поворота. What do you need to do when you meet the indicator in the image? Так, with this speed, make sure if other vehicles are priority road, stop and give priority. The driver is prohibited. Objects and substances otherwise goods. Indication with use sound system. Can you overcome the situation now because you're taking forbidden in this situation? What obligation do you have when if you see red light turn on and off, stop without crossing the pointer? Which of the following facts make it necessary to suspend the exercise of the right to drive for a period of 90 days? A vehicle has emergency lights on. What do you need to keep in mind? The vehicle is stuck or towed. Can you go over the opposite direction walking and meeting such road mark? Yes. Like, what is the situation or immobilization of the vehicle? Where technical state of the vehicle jeopardizes traffic safety. Where is there data or indication that is subject of a contravention? How will you see the blinking yellow light? Signal doesn't. You will observe the meaning of the road signs, traffic rules applicable in that place. Блин, невнимательно выбрал, ладно. Так, 6. Боже, еще 4 осталось. What are the obligations of the vehicle driver who injured a pedestrian crossing the street? Так. What are the obligations of the vehicle driver who injured a pedestrian crossing the street that does not affect the police and the use of the other means of transport to carry him to the nearest house because he then returned to the scene of the accident? What obligation do you have when you notice that you're being overtaken by another vehicle? Так. Вот это так. Can vehicle police be detained by the road police? Can the vehicle police be retained by the road police officer? Так, может ли дорожный полицейский изъять регистрацию транспортного средства? How to proceed correctly to enter the highway using the impulse, then give up as the passing of vehicles running on the first gang on the highway. You increase for this purpose. Так, the adjacent decoy forbids access more vehicles intended for carriage goods which hold trailers with lengths of more than 10 meters. Что? Это все... Господи, аж одна ошибка совершена. Can you approach the front vehicle? No, because you're blocking the intersection. Can you change the position? Can you change the position of the vehicle if it was involved in an accident resulting in death injury? Not until the ambulance arrives. Yes, if the approval of police is investigating the accident. Where are you allowed to stay on the left in the direction of walking? On unique streets, the registration certificate shall be forfeit when stickers are applied on the white screen. Так, what obligation do you have when executing the vehicle maneuver from one band to another? Signal early and make sure you can maneuver without disturbing the traffic or endangering. Specify which vehicles are exempt from crossing priority. Exempt from cross priority. Like a public transport service which are moved from the station provided with alveolar. Driver vehicles are required to have an identity document of driving license. What is lower speed limit that can be set inside of localities? What is lower speed? What is the lower speed limit that can be set inside of a locality? There is no legal provision. Not less than 30 kilometers an hour. What can be attached to category B car? Так, a trailer, a maximum authorized, which cannot contain that doesn't exceed 750 kilograms. A trailer with a maximum authorized mass of which exceeds 750 kilograms provided with the maximum authorized mass. How does the vehicle driver intends to move forward in an undirected intersection? Reduces speed and gives priority to vehicles coming from its right. How does a vehicle driver intend to move forward in an undirected intersection? How does the vehicle driver intend to move forward? How does a vehicle driver intend to move forward in undirected intersection? The speed and give priority to vehicles coming from its right, да. Так, how is the device to behave in this situation? Sorry, у меня что-то мозг включился, потому что тяжело соблюдать это. Внимание держать время. Move on as children are forbidden to enter the road. Stop and leave the ball. With speed and prepare to stop. As driver of the red car properly engaged in the overtaking truck, not because he didn't seem assured and didn't signal attention to work on. How will you see the blinking yellow light? How will you see the blinking yellow light? You will travel at low speed. You will observe the meaning of the road traffic. In which of the following situation are you obliged to travel at the speed that doesn't exceed 30 kilometers an hour in the localities? In which of the following situation are you obliged to travel at the speed that doesn't exceed 30 kilometers an hour in the localities? In which of the following situation are you obliged to travel at the speed that doesn't exceed? In which of the following situation are you obliged to travel at speed that doesn't exceed 30 kilometers in localities? Так, in which of the following situation are you obliged to travel at speed that doesn't exceed 30 kilometers in the area in the cruise with visibility less than 50 meters? With particularly dangerous cruise signals as such. From when meeting the vehicle with a set of vehicles on a narrow public road where the passage from opposite direction is exposed or dangerous, it will hand on its back. Vehicle. What does the vehicle driver do at night when he is blinded by the headlights of the vehicle running from the opposite? Keep the passing lights on. The travel speed and stop if necessary. What does a vehicle driver do at night when he's blinded by the headlights of the vehicle? Do you mean end of minimum speed? End of minimum speed. What is the obligation for the driver to change the direction of going to the right at the green traffic light when pedestrians are also engaged? What is the obligation for the driver to change the direction of going to the right to the green traffic light while the pedestrians are also engaged? Let's change the direction of the travel and to maintain sufficient deliverable distance. Signal to change of direction and give priority to crossing pedestrians engaged in crossing the street that the right is about to enter. Using the air conditioning system has effect of increasing fuel consumption. When braking, the vehicle drifts. How do you react correctly? Do not apply the brake and turn the steering wheel counterclockwise. You continuously get to mark applied that the road actually allows its violation only by motorcycles and mopeds, not under any circumstances. Так, все. Так, сейчас пописываю. Подождите. Пам-парам. Это. Так, о боже мой. Так, еще мне осталось буквально 3 теста сделать. 3 теста сегодня сделаем, и все, я больше не буду этой залупой заниматься. О боже, наконец-то это будет очень хорошо на самом деле. Так, мы с вами уже 2 часа 11 минут уже тут занимаемся тестом. Вот. Мы с вами 2 часа 10 минут уже проходим. Сори, я просто что-то не привык реально говорить на камеру. Ну, не на камеру, точнее, а на стриме. Мне как-то тяжело в смысле собраться, так что вот привыкаем. Так, отметьте, что интернет почему не влетает. Так. Окей, так. Ой. To move cautiously as the indicator signifies crossing for pedestrians. Has the car parked in the picture correctly? Not because it's outside of the area where parking is allowed. At the cop signal with the left arm leaning horizontally towards approaching vehicle, the driver must stop immediately. Подождите, я хочу посмотреть на всякий случай. Пискнула полицейская светит на горизонтальном направлении левой рукой, обращенной к лицом проезжающего автомобиля, водитель должен to stop immediately. Так, the white car runs the return maneuver. How will you do the right thing? Stop and wait for traffic to go off. Так, off. Так, what obligations do you have before an overrun? To ensure the signal intention to work come. What obligations do you have before an overrun? Так, to ensure the signal intention to ensure the signal intention to work on. Так, now because we're taking forbidden in this situation, what's the following facts constitutes crime? Infraction, driving the influence of drugs. Не, все-таки можно, получается, меньше, больше, чем 50 километров. То есть, получается, запрещено просто, типа, просто под наркотиками находиться в то время, когда ты находишься за рулем. The indicator states, ну, в принципе, неплохо, на самом деле, 8 уже, типа, 8. Так что, вот. In the left lane, those who move at least at speed. What's meant by preventive conduct? The word behavior that prevents conduct by by anticipating and avoiding incorrect actions by road partners, as well as adapting. The field of vision of the driver shall be reduced when the trail speed is higher. Боже мой. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Pre-signaling a roundabout junction. Connection point for recyclable materials. Passing over the do re mi do re do do re mi do re do, not do re mi do re do. Вот так. Passing over the batch mark is allowed. Meow meow meow. Changing lane direction of travel is overtaken. Passing over the batch mark is allowed. Changing lane direction of travel or overtaken. When such marking doesn't delimit the two-directional movement. Changing. Sorry, ступил что-то. Что-то выключился опять мозг. Passing over the batch mark is allowed. Discontinue. Так, changing lane. When such marking doesn't delimit the two direction. Так, значит, are you approaching while crossing the current barrier-free track in which a wagon was hauled in front of you? Так, что за вагон? Так, являюсь перед железнодорожного приезда без шлагбаума, на котором впереди вас движется телега. Можете ли выполнить обгон без шлагбаума, в котором впереди вас движется телега? Not because overtaking is proven on roller road crossing and less than 50 meters ahead of them. The braking distance of the depends mostly on speed. Most on. Мне кажется, speed, да, speed. If when crossing the track, you find that vehicle is stationary on the railway, how will you do it? To provide support for moving the vehicle. Are you allowed to recount cyclists? No, because due to the moment there can be not suitable lateral distance. If fracture is mobilized, the thrust should be rigid and long enough to contain the ends of fracture. In this situation, you have the obligation to stop screwing and grant passage priority before crossing the intersection. Is the left turn allowed in this place? Because it's forbidden to cross the mark between two squares. What is the equivalence of the continuous longitudinal mark expiration of the circular? That prohibits overcoming the sectors in which it is installed, in which it is applied. Prohibits overcoming. Зона с ограниченным временем стоянки закончилась. Так, ладно. Driving on public roads of an agriculture or forest tractor by a person with blood all over tracts. Так, тут перевожу, потому что перевод: вождение на общественной дороге автомобиля сельскохозяйственного или лесного трактора с лицевым содержанием выше 0,8 влечет за собой criminal liability suspension of exercise of the right to drive for a period of and cancellation. Так. Additional category forbids access of vehicles assembled with lengths of more than 10 meters. Вот это. Priority is given in the following situation. Все аккорды. Правое преимущество проезда представляет следующая ситуация. Что? Как это? Ну как это, блядь? Подождите. As the priority for reverse circulation. Так я должен дать. Типа, приоритет дается в следующей ситуации. Типа, приоритет... Ну, типа, мне дается приоритет. Или... In the case of non-breathing injury, the pulse is checked. Последний. When are you forced to stop the vehicle? Боже, это, конечно, эпик. Так. Что? Буна. Я сказал speak English.
Hello.
Я сказал hello.
Hello.
Hello. Do you hear me? this?
Yeah, we will call you back.
Okay.
Okay, goodbye.
Yes, have a nice day. Что, блядь? О, год. Здорово, я просто пытаюсь тут впарить тут говнище, походу. Спросить какой-то скам. Ну, типа, мой провайдер интернета, Wi-Fi. Давайте. Интернет-провайдер. Ох уж эти интернет-провайдеры. Так, окей, when are you forced to stop the vehicle? At the signals of the right-hand drive vehicles. Так, давайте. Signals of right-hand driver vehicles. Drives vehicle driving from the opposite directions. The drivers of vehicles driving from the opposite direction. A signal of Ministry of Defense traffic coaches. Фу, это было близко, это было очень близко. Итак, осталось нам всего лишь уже 2 теста сделать. И мы наконец-то завершим стрим после этого. Итак, смотрим, кто там смотрит. Так, мы с вами уже проходим 2 часа 25 минут. Уже мощно, конечно же. Так, проходим. Так, идем дальше, проходим дальше. Why does the word tubeless engraved on tire mean? Боже мой, я не помню. Without the air, an air chamber, наверное. Вот это, наверное. The car signals the intention to move. Can you overcome? Yes, do it properly. Which of the following facts constitutes crime? Driving under influence of drugs with similar effects. The maximum speed limit on the public road, the operator may set for certain sectors within the localities of the vehicles categories A and B may not exceed так, within the localities 80 km. Okay, they warns you that a level crossing with a barrier-free railway with a level crossing with a barrier-free railway with light signaling. How do you approach an intersection where outside of the traffic light that runs a green signal do you also guard the passage? How do you approach an intersection where outside of the traffic light that runs the green signal do you also guard respect the experience of a traffic light? Вот. Так, вот какой, значит, получается тут у нас? Так, у нас тут получается, ну, так. Так, у нас тут получается, есть... Что же тут выбрать? Так, у нас... Так, слева, значит, справа, значит, truck, car, trolley, motorcycle. When leaving the vehicle, you have the following obligations: to prioritize passing vehicles traveling the road regardless of direction. Avoid overriding vehicle controls. Так, when leaving the vehicle, you have the following to prioritize the visiting vehicles around the road regardless of the direction of travel. Вот это. Easy driver vehicle required to use the additional lane where... Так, уже очень хорошо. Сейчас тут мы сделали еще не один ошибка. То есть the additional lane when boarding the ramp, its speed is lower than the indicated in the speed. Так, обязательно водитель использует дополнительную полосу при подъеме на склон, если скорость ниже, чем указано на знаке. Yes. Да, обязан. Так, the stationary area of limited duration is over. In the event of an accident in which the victim has lost consciousness, the first measure will control breathing and heartbeats. Coloana ufficiale. Official. Booker. Так, Букарест получается. Так, if the police car sends a message official column, are you allowed to attach such column? Not. From the opposite direction of vehicle or takes another and cannot return to its own band. How they behave. Reduce your speed and engage a lot to the right. Which of the situation is the registration or certificate retained? When the periodic technical inspection has expired, when the engine emits bound limits allowed. If idle or stationary noise exceeds the permitted legal speed. What do you do when traveling on a public road that occur with visibility less than 50 meters? Do you know that animal powered vehicle is moving in front of you? Drive behind towing vehicle until you have a good visibility and you can safely overtake. This in theory mean так specify the route to take left turn. Is it allowed to stop in the given situation? Not. Access of the right to drive should be spent for a period of 30 days for overtaking column of vehicles stopped at the red traffic rules. What is the significance of the continuous longitudinal mark or separation of circulatory meanings? Prohibits his violation. Return is forbidden at intersection and less than 50 meters from nearest. Так можно. On unique streets, значит, получается, on unique streets. Priority is given in the following situation. Reverse movement priority. Вот это так, дается кому-то, то есть. Which situation is allowed to overcome? Which of the situation is allowed to overcome? Which of the situations is allowed to overcome? Which? By light signals at the intersection guided by the police officers. At the intersection marked with priority indicators. The periodic technical inspection of motor vehicles and trails must be carried out periodically according to the law. Can you change the position of the vehicle if it has been involved in an accident resulting in death or injury of bodily integrity of body? Not until yes, if with the approval of the police who is investigating the accident. What do you do if you notice it in a timely manner or an elderly person crossing the public road irregularly in front of you? Reduce the speed in the time and take all precautions to avoid hitting the traveler. What do you do? What do you do if you notice it in a timely manner or an elderly person? If after a heavy rain, is it necessary to keep the greater distance from the vehicle running in front? Yes, as the braking area increases. Боже, боже мой, боже, 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 мне всего лишь остался один раз. Вдумайтесь, мне осталось всего лишь один раз сделать все. Еще всего лишь, то есть 2,5 часа потратили. What's the role of engine oil? And this engine vary by creating a strong lubricating film between the series of the moving parts. How do you make sure there is no tension when handling the vehicle back? Screws are from the front, back, and side. Immobilization of fractured arm is made. Compromising the fractured bone and upper joint. Experience the fractured bone and the two joints, basically the upper and lower one. Я, кстати, всем понимаю, что это значит, конечно. Типа я помню, что просто, что я не помню, так, как-то купризент. Это как охватывая сломанную кость и два сустава, верхний и нижний. What does the greater effort put on the brake pedal drive indicates? Gripping the receptor cylinders and pistons. Drivers are forbidden while driving to engage in discussions with the occupants of the vehicle. To throw any object on the public road. The cautious driver is considering to be arrested to have normal pressure on the spare wheel. To be arrested in the vehicle. What ban you have in this situation? To keep priority of the vehicle entering the intersection. To stop the vehicle. You have the obligation to immediately stop the vehicle on the signal sent by railway engine at level crossing. And where does this interior meets? At the beginning of the road in sections covered by snow and ice snow. You intend to carry a cargo with your personal car. What do you need to keep in mind? The load is not bulky. Do not exceed the length, width, and weight allowed. Front load may exceed the limits of the vehicle by 1 meter. The maximum speed limit for driving a vehicle outside of localities when the velocity is less than 100 meters fog is which of the cars is parked properly? The car, truck. The car, truck. What does the indicator in the image mean? Children. What is the significance of the indicator? Minimum speed limit. What obligation do you have to signal the members of the school patrols at pedestrian crossing units and educational establishment to stop? In which situation is overtaking is prohibited? At the intersections, distance, and the last traffic junctions and in signaling pedestrian crossing. Vehicle return is forbidden on unique roads. Vehicle return is forbidden on unique roads. A pedestrian marker. Where the steering road does not allow it. Specify the action to be taken when the holder of the driving license has been declared unfit to drive motor vehicle by the authorized medical establishment. Your driving license is withdrawn. With what role does the gearbox have? Choose power transmission to wheels, мне кажется. Да. Allows reverse movement without reversing the direction of rotation of the engine. It allows you to stay with the engine running. Да. One driving license retained by the police when the rules on pedestrian preference on the speed reduction. As does the garage forestry tractor when in commune intermediate vicinity to pedestrian crossing marked as such is intended to overcome a vehicle in motion. Do not overrun. Мне кажется, сразу do not overrun. Давайте посмотрим. Как должен поступать водитель автомобиля сельскохозяйственного или лесного трактора, находясь на населенном пункте рядом с пешеходным переходом, если набирается в интернет транспортное средство? do not overrun. How should the vehicle driver How should the vehicle driver proceed when at the intersection he meets a forward-facing cop who makes him a sign to continue to his journey? Как должен поступать водитель транспортного средства, который когда на перекрестке встречает полицейского, смотрящего в его сторону и подающего знак продолжать? Conform to the cop signals. In which of the following situations are you obliged to travel at speed that doesn't exceed 30 km an hour in localities? If you travel on the European national roads, you're forbidden to stop on the carriageway. What is forbidden to drivers of cars and trams? To engage in discussions, to use mobile phones while driving without having the hands-free system. In which of the situations is it forbidden? Is the return of the vehicle is prohibited? In which of the situations is the return of the vehicle prohibited? In the place it says where stopping is prohibited except for intersections. In which of the situations is the return of vehicles? Боже мой, не может быть, я сделал это, да ну нахуй, Гойс, это вообще жестко. Ой-ой-ой, так, все, ребята, всем пока, спасибо большое, все, давайте, пока-пока, всем пока. Это было очень хорошо.